Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, August 30th, 2024. Fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here. For today, we have very warm and dry conditions continuing across the Great Basin with maybe an isolated chance of a storm over the Arizona Strip late today. And tomorrow we see the moisture increasing a bit across far southern Nevada and southwest Utah for some isolated storms on the drier side down there. And then on Sunday, the moisture moves northward into northern and northeast Nevada for some isolated drier storms possible there, as well as some storms continuing over far southern Utah. Yesterday was a quiet day across the basin with no precip or lightning activity. Recent fire activity is shown here. We had 10 new fires for 267 acres yesterday, and our large fire growth was over 21,000 acres, most of that again coming on the Wapiti fire. Current fire danger values are shown here. Most of our stations are increasing across the Great Basin under this warm and dry air mass. Some of the stations may not have increased significantly yesterday just due to the smoke in place over Idaho, but certainly warm and dry conditions continue, especially across the north for the next few days, so we expect these values to continue to rise as well. This morning's satellite imagery shows a broad area of high pressure in place across the Great Basin, leading to warming temperatures, sunny skies, and very low relative humidities with light winds. Smoke impacts for this afternoon include pretty heavy smoke over the central Idaho mountains and across much of southern Idaho. We'll even see smoke moving into much of northwest Utah today. Tomorrow, the smoke may lighten up just a bit across Nevada and Utah as we see some southerly flow increasing. So for today, we're looking at the ridge of high pressure in place over the Great Basin for continued warm and very dry conditions with sunny skies. We also see a little bit of moisture starting to move into the southwest, which may bring just a tiny bit of a chance of some storms into far southern Great Basin today. Afternoon wind gusts will be very light today across the area, and our minimum relative humidities continue to be super low, single digits across much of Nevada and Utah, and much of Idaho as well. Even in the higher elevations, the minimum relative humidities will only be in the very low teens. Here we're looking at burn period on the left. This is a new product. It totals up the number of hours with relative humidity below 20%, and then that considers that a burn period. So where we have reds, it's 20 to 24 hours, and these lighter greens here in Idaho, 8 to 12 hours. So just kind of a snapshot of how long our burn window is today. Maximum temperatures shown here with the 90s, low 90s in Nevada and up into western Idaho, and a little bit cooler on the east side. On Saturday, there's a low pressure system off the California coast that's going to begin to move a little bit closer inland, and then we also see the high pressure ridge over the Great Basin. A little bit of moisture starting to move up underneath this ridge as it gets pushed slightly to the east. So we will see an increased chance for some very isolated storms over portions of the southern Great Basin. We have a couple high risk triggers issued here for southern Nevada. The winds are generally going to be quite light again on Saturday, but over southern Nevada and southern Utah, where we see thunderstorms developing, some gusty outflow winds are possible with those storms. And looking here on the late afternoon precipitation chances, again, very isolated, drier type storms over portions of southern Nevada and southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. Sunday, that low moves a little bit closer to the coast, and we'll see the ridge being shifted further to the east, allowing moisture to move northward. Most of the moisture is going to move north into eastern Nevada, so we do have high risk issued for an increase in thunderstorms in that area. Afternoon wind gusts are shown here, so still pretty light winds across the area, but picking up a little bit from the very light winds we've had this week so far. Gusty outflow winds associated with any thunderstorms that do develop, and then we'll see some wind gusts pick up along the Sierra front on Sunday as well. Late afternoon precipitation shown here on the right shows that increasing thunderstorm threat over mainly just eastern Nevada, and then we'll see some storms continuing over far southwest Utah and possibly southeast Utah as well. 3-day precip totals are very slim, really nothing to speak of in the Great Basin, but some isolated storms in the Arizona Strip, and then a few pockets here and there in eastern Nevada and southwest Utah. On Monday, as that low moves into Northern California. The moisture is quickly drawn northward into Idaho. We do have high risk issued for the higher elevations of Idaho and then just a couple zones here in northeast Nevada and southern Idaho. So we will see that moisture move north and creating an increasing chance for thunderstorms, especially over the higher elevations. So these storms will be a mix of wet and dry as they move up into Idaho. Drier conditions remaining over the south. On Tuesday, the main low finally swings over the northern Great Basin. We will continue to see some showers and thunderstorms possible over the central Idaho mountains on Tuesday with higher relative humidities and some slightly cooler temperatures there, but dry and warm continuing across Nevada and Utah. On Wednesday, the low moves further east over eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. We could see some the potential for showers and thunderstorms over eastern Idaho and western Wyoming on Wednesday, with drier conditions starting to move back in from the west. On Thursday, high pressure ridge will rebuild over the Great Basin for a return of dry and warm conditions area-wide. 7-day precip totals shown here show the moisture as it moves northward into Idaho on Monday for that increase in the potential for showers and thunderstorms, mainly over the central Idaho mountains and then into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming into the first part of next week. The extended forecast for September 6th through the 12th calls for above normal temperatures across much of the western U.S. And below normal chances for precipitation over much of Utah, Idaho, and eastern Nevada. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.